Hello, everybody. Welcome to the ReQuest. It is I, Captain Logan, and joining me as always is Austin the Day Ghost. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Say it again.
I was gonna say, I think I said "What's up" as I was putting my mic down, so it was like I said it too early.
Yeah, it looked like a delay with yourself and your own mic, which was very
I was
odd.
fighting with my phone. I was fighting with my phone because I was listening to music while we're like waiting to start, and it like wasn't pausing. So I'm like, I don't like if I unmute myself, is it gonna play on the stream? I don't want that to happen. It was a disaster. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
on Discord it's not. That's all right. On Discord it's not as easy to set it up where you can hear my end. Like I think I can do it, but I'd have to screen share at the same time, and it's like
it's okay.
Extra bandwidth or power or whatever. But we're back for ReQuest. We missed last week. Apologies for the delays with our requesters, but tonight we're going to talk about a TV pilot from 1997 for HBO's Oz. And this was requested by Dan Schneider on Patreon, so thanks a lot to him. This is one of the shows, Austin, that I was only kind of vaguely aware of. You hear a lot about some of these kind of prestige HBO shows, obviously, like The Sopranos. This is one that I don't hear in like 6 Feet Under and stuff. This is a show that I don't hear bandied about as much. But now that I've seen it, like it seems really foundational and important.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Like laying a lot of groundwork, a lot of bricks are being put in the ground with this show.
Mm-hmm. Well, and embarrassingly enough, I knew so little about the show. I thought it was like a documentary, like reality, like we put cameras in a prison show.
Oh, really?
So when it started, I was like, oh, yeah, no, I know very little about
That's
this,
amazing.
going
I
in.
at least knew
So
that
I had
it
like
was
a quick adjustment where I'm like, oh, it's prestige television. Okay.
I was at least aware that it was a fictional television show.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know where I got that from.
This is a show that I don't want to say doesn't hold up, but it's certainly interesting looking at this decades later after seeing a lot of the things that it's informing and influencing, having known next to nothing about this show. Like I watched the first season and maybe a few episodes in after that of Orange is the New Black back on Netflix when that came out, and that's just the female version of the show, and it informs like lots of other things, certainly, and really just like hard R dramas pushing envelopes as hard as you can. Like you don't get Breaking Bad without stuff like this, and so like a lot of things that I am a fan of, don't exist without shows like this. And it's also really interesting just all the actors involved here that do kind of somewhat similar or related things later in things I've seen them in that I didn't realize they were maybe kind of cast because they'd done the same sort of thing in this. And a couple of those actors are in Lost and have scenes together in Lost.
Oh, okay, cool. So there's probably like while I was watching it, I was like, oh man, this cast is crazy. So you probably have even more of that then.
Yeah, tons of it. Dan Schneider says, I picked this because it has a lot of actors Cap likes. That's cool. I thought he picked it because he thought it would make me uncomfortable because I've talked on the channel before about my irrational fear of going to prison.
Oh, okay. I thought I just wanted to make the man on the TV squeal.
The television's plan. Apologies to everybody tonight, by the way, because it seems like we have like a few second lag. I think we're in good enough shape to do a conversation, Austin, but it does seem like we've got about a 5-second lag or so.
Oh, okay. See, it's hard to say sometimes, but I was like, I feel like we're okay, but it's who knows? I don't know.
It's a lot like watching an interview with someone remotely on like CNBC or something. That's kind of what it looks like. Where I'm the interviewer and I gotta wait 5-10 seconds.
Oh, one of those classic ones.
Yeah, we just did it.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, yeah. Now I see it. Now I
This is
see
gonna
it.
be great. Yeah, this is what I was talking to you about before we started. You set my mind at ease, and you were wrong, sir. In fact, I'm gonna hang up on you and call you right back just in case it helps it. Everybody,
Okay,
give
sounds
us
good.
just a second. But we'll live with it if we have to. It's not the worst it's ever been. There he is.
I'm back.
A dinosaur story.
That's true. And if you want to see us do a commentary on that, Patreon.
Yeah, from years ago. Good luck finding it.
Gotta do some digging.
Okay, Austin, why don't you give us your kind of first impressions of this show? And I guess we could do sort of a brief synopsis. I don't think we have to talk about all of the ins and outs of the plot. This is a real involved show. Like from the pilot, just tons of moving parts and subplots and many characters and lots of politics, lots of factions. It's very kind of like No Man's Land in that way, where you've got like all these different kind of gangs and factions going to war together, having rivalries and things. I can see why you might have thought that this is a reality television show because it could have been.
Well, I think the only thing I knew about this show is that when I was a kid, there's a Family Guy episode where they're like, "Oh, Oz," and then it cuts to a bunch of naked men in prison singing one of the songs from Wizard of Oz, and I was like, I have no idea what this means. And eventually, I learned it was a prison show, and for some reason, I was like, oh, that must just be like a show where we just filmed real prisoners and like got a sense of what their life is like.
Haven't you heard of Oz, the most important HBO show ever made?
Now I do.
Yeah, yeah, he gets it now.
Now I know what that is. Yeah. But yeah, Oz is a show about people in prison and their wacky hijinks. Uh, I I thought
Well,
this show
that
was
makes
pretty
it
good.
sound way less cynical than it is. Makes it sound way less
Oh
impressive.
yeah, no, I mean this is basically like a Naked Gun or like Airplane, right? Where it's like they deliver everything so dryly that it's funny, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's got its humor, but it's, certainly real black.
Mhm. Yeah, very like dark humor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I quite liked the show. I feel like I need another watch because I had like a bit of a long day, so it was like a little bit out of it, especially by the second episode. And there's just like so many things to kind of keep track of. I feel like I need like another watch of it. But I really enjoyed what I saw
Yeah,
of it.
you got to take
Or what
notes.
I saw of it. I did watch the whole thing.
You got to make charts and graphs.
Yeah, exactly. It is definitely one of those, and it really got me by the end of the first episode. I thought because the person I thought was the lead ends up not being the lead, and it really got me with that. I don't know if you had that too.
I didn't, but I didn't expect that character to go.
Oh, okay.
I did not think that
Yeah, I
character
guess
was
being
the
the
lead,
lead is
though.
like maybe
Well,
I
given
like one of them.
yeah,
Anyway.
given the fact that it's so ensemble, I was thinking it might be kind of a lost sort of thing where you have a pretty clear or even like a Walking Dead where you've got like a clear leader protagonist and then a lot of subplots with recurring and main characters, but I wasn't 100% sure if that was true with this, who exactly that main character was. And so it sounds like you had the same thing, but the guy that you picked is not the guy I picked. And doing a little bit of background research, it sounds like I was like kind of half right about it, because the guy I thought was our sort of eyes in is the most like well-adjusted, regular, everyday guy who has the typical makes one wrong, like drunk driving mistake, and then gets thrown in this prison. And so he, I mean, he deserves to be there in the sense that he did a terrible thing, but he's not in the same uh, category as a lot of the prisoners that are there, of course. And I figured that guy was probably more of like the main character if there was one, and I think he's there all the way
Yeah.
through the show, and it sounds like that's kind of true, but he gets buried real hard too. Like he's not nearly as involved in the first two episodes as a lot of other people. We should mention too, by the way, in the title I said pilot. We watched the first two episodes. I always try to watch at least the next one when we do these to get just a
Yeah.
grander impression of what the show is like.
hmm Yeah, and I guess I should say like it was between the two of them as well, because I did have that with that character as well, but definitely like ensemble. So when I say lead, I guess I don't mean like like this is the main character, like just like a lead, but yeah,
But way
absolutely.
less so than like Jack from Lost or like the main guy in Walking Dead. Like they get real up front in shows like that where this is our guy, even though it's a big ensemble. And this doesn't have that. There's not a
Mhm.
starship captain in this show, and you do have like the warden and the main guy that runs the kind of social experiment with Oz in trying to see if you can like rehabilitate people and get them all to live together in harmony. Spoiler alert. The point of the show is you can't, at least in prison. It seems to me, and so they're all in general population together, and they spend a lot more time like socializing and working together than in their cells, like a typical prison, which seems like a premise designed just to make it possible to have a Wild West kind of drama with a thing like this. It seems like it's a cool idea, but it feels like in 1997 it's going out of its way, going, how in the world do you even do a regular weekly show set in a prison?
hmm Well, it's also funny you said the Starship Captain thing, because there's a shot early on in the pilot where it's Eddie Falco at like a little command center thing that like is above all the
Yes.
uh, above everyone, and I was like, oh, she's the she's the Starship Captain.
Yeah, I kind of had that too. And actually, I that really bugged me because I was sitting there thinking like they're all lights out and they shut everything down and she's up there kind of lording over everybody and yeah, that felt like a Babylon 5 shot or something. And then I was thinking and then inside you have all these guys being like attacked and raped and stuff and like it's horrible obviously, but
And
but
then
this
she's up there like Picard being like engaged.
yeah, exactly. It's more screwed up when you put it in that context.
hmm
It's like
Yeah, I
yes,
didn't
we
realize
have
Deep Space Nine was the start.
yes, yes, we have complete control of everything. We've got it all. We've got it all under control. And like it's just it's yeah that's why I'm saying cynical, like intentionally cynical. I'm not even complaining about that. That's just the kind of thing this is. It's the story that they're telling and the bent that it has. And so it's going and maybe as you go along, like there's more hope and humanity and stuff in characters. But this is a pretty like relentlessly dark kind of show. There's some
Mhm.
dated sort of things about it that kind of screams 1997, particularly in the pilot and how it's shot and like some of the editing choices and stuff that feel a little gimmicky to me. That you wouldn't have even thought twice about in 1997.
Mhm.
But it also probably felt like way like it's still even edgy enough now with a lot of subject matter and stuff. But it certainly would have watched like 8 times edgier in 97 before a lot of things again that we have later that are informed by it.
hmm Yeah, and I wonder too, because it's still in that period, right, where TV looks TV. So, like, I wonder if that maybe adds to some of that. Whereas now there's like a really hard to define line between film and television at this point,
That's
especially shows like this now.
yeah, that are intentionally trying to look more cinematic. Couple things I would almost bet you money on, not having looked at any more of the show, because this show, now that you say that, this show was on for 6 years. Most seasons got 8 episodes. For whatever reason, season 4 is broken up into two 8 episode chunks, which kind of makes it look more like a 7 season show. It's kind of odd. Like,
Oh, Sopranos has a weird thing like that too with its
does
last
it?
season.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
this does it in the middle of the show, and the last two seasons are back to 8. I don't know what that's
yeah,
about.
that is weird.
But I would bet you money on a couple of things. At some point by '01 or '02, this show probably goes to more of a like cinematic aspect ratio. And I would also suggest, unless it was in wide in the first place, but I don't think it was. I wasn't even thinking about it while watching it, but I doubt very seriously if it was in 16:9, but I got to go back and look at it. But secondly, I imagine the further in you go, the more cinematic this show looks. It goes all the way to '03, and by then 24 had been on for 3 years. Like, I would be shocked if it doesn't look a lot more cinematic by season 6 than it does in
Mhm.
season 1.
No, it's very possible. It is very possible. I hadn't really thought about it like that, but you're probably right. Because even they're probably what into their no, not second, probably third season by the time Sopranos starts.
Yeah,
So
and that's
yeah,
all, and
probably.
that's already a less TV looking show when it starts.
Unless
I've only
maybe
seen the
they.
pilot, but I remember that
Mhm.
looking less TV than this does.
Yeah, absolutely. Unless they, make it like, a hard stance of we're gonna keep looking the way we do, I guess. That's always possible too.
It's possible, yeah. But like even a lot of broadcast stuff has this where there's a stark contrast in film quality and just like the way shots are composed, the cinematography, et cetera, et cetera. You look at Buffy season 1, which is the same year as this, '97, and its final season, and it's night and day. I mean, it looks like a completely different show. So I would be really surprised if
Mhm.
this doesn't also have that. Uh,
Yeah, you're probably right.
Voyager has that to some degree. Like
Mhm.
DS9 has that.
Yeah, it's all just coming out like right on that like precipice, right? Like where that's gonna shift a little bit more.
Yeah. So getting into the show more, what would you say like the characters and subplots that you found most interesting that might make you want to keep watching the show, and what were the ones that you kind of could have lived without? I guess I should even ask before that. Did you feel like there was too much going on?
Um, I mean, in terms of just like a first viewing, there was definitely a lot going on. And it was like, okay, I gotta kind of file a lot of this back, but none of it really dragged for me. Like there wasn't any moments where I was like, okay, I could have done without this. I'd say the things that I was most intrigued with were probably those like two characters that I assumed were kind of the leads, like from the get go. Uh, you have that whole thing with like the cellmates in episode one. I thought that stuff was really good, and they're like AIDS patient stuff, and with the other guy too.
Yeah, I
Yeah, all
wasn't.
that stuff is really cool.
I just wasn't mentally prepared for this show. That was
You're
my
like, I
problem.
am
Like,
not. I'm not in a mood to watch an AIDS man and another man smoke cigarettes together.
I was just not in the mood to like live in a prison with Ernie Hudson for 2 hours. Like I wasn't ready for that. Speaking of that, and he's great in this. I didn't look up any cast beforehand. I had no idea who was in this except for J.K. Simmons, and only because at some point I looked this up in like knowing we were going to do it, and like a picture of him popped up, and that's the only reason I knew he was in this. And like the youngest J.K. Simmons that I've ever seen, and he's still not young.
He's also a bit heavier here than I'm used to seeing him. I was like, oh, I'm kind of surprised.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But anyway, I just wanted to mention how odd it is, and you weren't here for the last one, but the last two requests in a row have included Ernie Hudson. It's very strange that happened, but he shows up in the crappy live action Dragon Ball movie. I don't know what he's doing in that movie, but he shows up in that.
Oh, I forgot that he was in that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's so
I think
weird.
that's him. If memory serves, I think that's
No,
him.
no, it was. I don't remember who he was playing, but he was there.
Yeah, he played a guy that he looks nothing like, and not just because he's an African American man. I looked that character up, and I was like, it's this like little squat guy with like a goatee, and it was like I don't know why he's playing this character, but all right, it's very strange.
Well, you see, Ernie Hudson in the sequel would have become that guy after he's seen some stuff that turned him white.
I see. Yeah. Dan Schneider, $5 super chat. Let me get through these real quick, and then we'll get back to our conversation here. Beecher, the guy you're describing, he's talking about the kind of like level-headed DUI guy we were talking about. He says that guy has the best arc in the series. It's worth watching just for that. It's Walter White levels of complexity. Well, and it's shocking how much that guy changes just between the first two episodes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
And just the way, and I like that it's not this light switch thing where suddenly he is a badass. He comes in kind of like I did, not mentally prepared for this, and he is naive, and he's making friends too quickly. He's being taken advantage of. And he's becoming hardened very fast. And he could have, like I said, just kind of had a switch where suddenly he is like talking about prison wallets and stuff like Fire Fist from Deadpool 2, and he's not doing that. Like he's trying to put on a brave face, and he's getting very quickly, like I said, hardened and a lot more cynical about things. But he's also caving very quickly to people who are trying to take advantage of him, and so you can see him going either way by that second episode, where he might completely crumble or even like try to commit suicide or something, or he might try to turn around and be like a big man on campus or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. He's definitely gonna shank out J.K. Simmons. That's my prediction.
Or he's gonna try. J.K. Simmons is terrifying in this. Like, I thought he was scary enough in Whiplash. He's horrifying in this movie.
No, I was laughing at the part where he saves him from his first cellmate, and there's a shot right after that where it's like, oh, now we're cellmates, haha. And, they go in their cell, and that guy Beach is like, he's like bent down, and there's this. It's like framing where J.K. Simmons is like right behind him, and he's just looking down at him, and it's like right after they were all buddy buddy, and I was like, wait a minute, this is about to take a turn. Where are we going with this? And then J.K. Simmons, he like walks by, jumps on his bed. He's like, by the way, I own you now. I was like, yes. I knew that was coming.
And I didn't feel like that was horribly predictable, but I was wondering which way it would go. Like, immediately, somebody befriends you in prison like that, and I'm going, ooh, don't trust him. Like, anything can happen. You don't know what his motives are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, he's just taking advantage of, like you said, it's kind of like wide-eyed side of it at the beginning.
And I like the build-up to just how terrifying he is, and the lengths that he's willing to go to control people. Where it starts with like, I own you, you have to do whatever I say, and then it goes to, you have to ask me permission to go have a conjugal visit with your wife. And I was like, okay, this is messed up. And then like scream it in front of everyone. Like that was messed up. And then when he threatens his family, and the guy like cuts up the pictures of his family just so that J.K. Simmons won't like know what they look like and won't have a chance at going and finding them, I was like, I don't want to watch this anymore. Like it was deeply effective, and I didn't like it, but like in the way I'm not supposed to. But I was, ugh. It's gonna be harder to watch him in things. I'm like, now I understand why he's in Invincible.
You're like, run, Peter Parker. You don't know what he's gonna do to you.
He's way scarier now when he puts on his Spider-Man suit in that deleted scene in Spider-Man 2.
Oh my god.
I don't want to watch that anymore.
Now I don't want to watch that. It's scary.
So I don't know,
I couldn't
pretty
imagine.
effective.
I couldn't imagine having that conversation with your wife though, in that conjugal visit, where it's like, "What is this on your ass?" Oh, it's my branding. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wondered if that might come up at some point.
I would have to. I would think.
Well, and then
That's
everything
gotta.
about that visit was really awkward.
Mm, yeah, absolutely. No,
Bob
and especially
Mahan.
like what the branding is. Like, goddamn.
Yeah, speaking of that kind of thing, I'll bring this up while I'm thinking about it. But I thought it was interesting reading up that uh, the creator of the show, Tom Fontana, got the Oz tattoo on his arm, and that's what you're seeing in the titles. Is him getting that
Oh,
tattoo?
oh, that's cool.
That's kind of neat.
Mm-hmm.
He's very
That is
committed to
neat.
his show.
No kidding. Oh, thank God it lasted 6 seasons and took off. Could you imagine if it was like,
Cancel that to the pilot. He'd be like,
yeah,
okay, look, I'm gonna try one more pilot. I have one more shoulder.
it's my last chance.
Imagine he creates like Dexter or something. Like his other show is like he's got a prison shoulder, a serial killer shoulder, and neither of them took off.
It's like, or that he's got like the prison shoulder, and then he's got like SpongeBob on the other.
Yeah, he just makes something like really benign or like rated G or something for children on the other side. He's like he makes like he's got like happy dinosaurs on the other shoulder.
It's just like a kid version of Oz. It's a bunch of dinosaurs in a prison.
He's got Oz, and then he's got like a remake of The Wizard of Oz, like a cartoon show. Anyway, but I also wanted to mention this was a really fascinating connection to me that you may not appreciate, Austin, but as soon as I saw that name Fontana, I had to look that up and see if he was related to DC Fontana, Dorothy Fontana, who is one of the major writers for Star Trek: The Original Series. She's a big architect for that show, and wrote some of like the big classic important episodes. And I started on TNG and kind of helped to create that show in the first place, and then had a falling out with Roddenberry and left. And I wrote one
Like you
episode of
do.
DS9, but basically never worked on the show again. It was kind of sad. Anyway, they're brother and sister,
Oh wow.
and I was
Okay.
shocked to find that out. Because as soon as I saw that, I was like, it would be really weird if it was a coincidence that they were both writers, like television writers in Hollywood, and those names were no relation. And yeah, they're brother and sister.
Especially that far apart. That's crazy.
And he's still alive, but she passed a few years ago. I think like 3, 4, 5 years ago.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's awesome. So Eddie Falco really is the starship captain, is what we're learning.
Yeah, exactly. That's my big Star Trek connection with this. Dan Schneider, Vince Gilligan was a fan of the show. It's part of why Breaking Bad got made. That doesn't surprise me at all. That
Yeah, I feel like
experiment
there's.
to see if you can make an audience want to follow like reprehensible characters and still find them
Yeah, and there's
sympathetic
like a
enough
line,
to.
right?
Yep,
You can track where it's
absolutely.
like you get this, and then Sopranos, and probably The Wire as well. I think is one of them too.
I had that
It's like you
thought
get like a
too.
couple of these shows, and then to two things like Breaking Bad. Not like that it's directly only going to that, but you know what I mean. Like you can track these things.
Well, sometimes it feels like that's like primarily what people want to make now is those kinds of shows.
Hmm. Yeah, that's the hard thing now, and I think a reason why we haven't really seen big ones like that break out is just there's like 8,000 of them now, where it's like, what's going to be the one that like really takes off? But I
It's
mean,
like,
that's just TV in general, I
that's
guess. Now.
true, but it feels like there's a lack of variety where there's that's oversaturated, and sometimes it feels like there's just only so much you can say about like the lack of humanity of reprehensible characters like that, or their attempt at redeeming themselves, and like can they do that and can they not? And like you could say this about any genre, I guess, but it can be difficult to not just kind of repeat yourself. It's kind of like the Walking Dead thing, the oversaturation of zombie stories, where it's like I really like zombie stories. After watching too many seasons of Walking Dead, it's really hard not to look at any zombie thing and be like, yep, these are the themes you have to explore with zombies.
Mhm. That and now it takes like 3 years to get another season of any show.
Well, that too.
So it's like you immediately lose any steam that you had.
Although, in a way, with things like this, I don't mind the breather as much. Where like I'd almost rather wait around a year and then come back to it because it's just kind of relentless.
Hmm. Yeah, that's fair. But I do think that's kind of hurt the longevity of shows, like keeping
Of
that
course,
momentum.
of course it has. Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
6 8 months in between, not 2 years. And then
Yeah.
the track record, we've talked about this a lot, but like the track record of these things these days with streaming, where you'll get a good season, maybe two, and then they tend to fall off. So not only do you, like with a season three, a season four, not only do you have to wait a year and a half, 2 years sometimes, but you also don't even trust it'll be worth your time.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
But anyways,
Bob the Hun, $5 super chat. This show does have some hopeful stuff. Did I read this one already? I don't think I did.
no, I think I read the first one.
There are some really evil characters that end up not quite redeemed, but trying really hard to be good. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, it would probably be like too relentless if everyone was just scum.
Just horrible. Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
and I mean, the point of the show could be, and this was certainly in here some, but I like that everybody's different and people are reacting to the situation in this environment in different ways, right? Like, you've got kind of the two sides of the human condition where like we're all the same, but we're all different. So like there's certain things about us that the majority of us are gonna end up being like, and then there's other things where some people can handle it and some people can't, or some people will thrive in a certain environment and some people won't. But the point of your your prison show, it could be, this is not an environment that is conducive to human beings and to staying sane and
Mhm.
to like feeling like your life is at all worthwhile, and the whole thing ends up being a uh, like terrible social experiment. And like I used that phrase earlier in describing what the like unique situation of Oz itself is, but that's just prison in general, right? Like prison feels like a really unfortunate social experiment, where like people are uh, not meant to live in cages. Like, however you feel about the way we, like, I don't want to get into politics with this. Like, however you feel about the way we handle prisoners in this country and in civilized society in general, notwithstanding, maybe it's necessary. But when we lock people behind bars for 12 hours a day, I that's gonna have just bizarre effects on people. Like we're communal creatures. Like we're not designed for that,
Mhm.
and we're not designed to
Yeah.
be like controlled every moment of our lives. I liked the main crux of the first episode being about the routine and how it's the routine that drives you crazier and is scarier. Like I felt like that pilot was all about kind of a descent into hell. Where it's like these guys are all on like a lower level of hell, and what makes it so insidious is not that you're looking over your shoulder and you might get stabbed at any moment. There's a character that even says that. It's that you don't have any agency and you're just bored. Like it's that simple. And I think it's interesting that even in this situation where these inmates have more time during the day to like walk around this building and interact with each other, it's it's still not conducive to the human condition.
Hmm. But yeah, it's one of the best lines. I think it's in the first episode. It might be in the second. I think it's in the narration where it says something like, you do everything you can to survive, but like at the end of the day, it's not like you're getting out. Like, I think it's specifically, like you do your exercise and whatnot, but like it's not like at the end of this you're leaving. You're just
Yeah, yeah, it's
you're
like
continuing on to stay in this prison situation.
yeah, it's like what are you working towards? And
Mhm.
the not the warden, but the main guy that's actually running specifically the Oz section. I should look these characters' names up as we're talking. Uh, but that guy at one point tells an inmate like you, you know your life can still be worthwhile. You can still have a purpose. He conveniently doesn't give the guy any sense of what that purpose should or could be. This
Mhm.
is just a massively flawed system, and maybe there's not exactly any way around that. I enjoyed all the like politics and bureaucracy, and I like the warden is sympathetic enough in that he's very often between a rock and a hard place. In if he's and he can be kind of smug, but if he's like trying to do the right thing versus keep the peace, you're gonna end up in situations where you're going lesser of two evils all the time. And so there's just tons and tons of really interesting ethical conundrums within just
Mhm.
2 episodes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there was a point in episode 2 where I was like, is this like a mini series? Like the way this is moving, like I don't know that this could go on for a long time. And then I was kind of surprised that it went 6 seasons,
Yeah,
especially if 4 is basically a double season.
it definitely watches like the start of a miniseries and moves at a clip in the way that a lot of streaming shows don't, where they're just in a holding pattern.
Yeah.
Like I also say, this show there's some typical things, and not even necessarily in a bad way. Like it's uh, it's it's using a good pilot formula in, like you said, giving us kind of red herrings and making us think that there's a major character that we're supposed to be following who's going to end up getting killed at the end, and then that's like the crux for some major story stuff that happens in the next episode. That's kind of an inciting incident and plays for some murder mystery. But I don't think that first episode has pilotitis at all. I think it does a really good job of establishing characters while telling story, and not just going like putting pins in things. Like here's this character, here's this character, and we're not gonna like spend any time fleshing them out, or like telling very much story. I felt like it felt like the first not even the first chapter, because there's so much happening. It felt like a couple 3 chapters in something.
Mhm.
But it felt like it was really pushing plenty of narrative along, and I also don't think that the second episode has like second episode itis, where you watch your pilot and it's riveting, and then your second episode nothing important happens. Like it's moving at a real clip.
Mhm. Your second episode becomes a filler episode, but I
Hmm.
guess this is also moving towards that 8 episode season thing where you don't have to have your filler anymore. You can just tell what you want to tell.
Yes, but with serialized stuff like this, sometimes your second episode isn't filler. It's just not getting enough done.
Yeah. No,
And
that's fair.
it's really easy to have a ton of stuff go on in your pilot, and then your next episode you're coasting,
Mhm.
and it doesn't do that.
Well, especially with the
Like I
way.
felt like just as much was going on in the second episode as the first.
Well, no, especially the way the first episode ends. You could very easily imagine a second episode where it's just kind of people reacting to that cliffhanger, and we don't
Yeah,
really do anything outside of that.
yeah, and there is a lot of reacting, but it's like you're pushing along an investigation.
Yeah, like you still have to do that, obviously. But like I do find that, especially in streaming shows, you'll get like a big thing happens, and then your next episode will kind of just hold the fort for a little bit, where it's like, okay, We just did a big thing, so we're not really going to do much this episode.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Chewbacca's Lover $2 super chat. The Black Muslim leader is in Lord of War as the villain. I've not seen that, but I have seen him in things. I think he
Yeah, it
might
was
be in
killing me
24.
because
I can't remember, but he's a TV guy. Or am I conflating? But there's so many characters in this show. So Mr. Echo from Lost is in this show, and I can't remember if it's that character or another guy. That might be who that is.
yeah, I think that's the guy that it was killing me to figure out where I knew him from. So maybe it was Lord of
And then
War,
the
unless there's other
narrator,
things I know.
and the
Too.
narrator is Michael from Lost, who's an actor that I've seen in lots of stuff. He's in the Constantine TV show, and he's in the Matrix sequels. That guy's in all kinds of things, and an actor that I like a lot. I don't ultimately like the character Michael in Lost, but I like that actor a lot, and he's really good in this. What do you think of the narration structure?
Oh, I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was a good way of kind of separating everything and like weaving in like what the show's getting at too at the same time. Not in like a we have to explain it to you kind of way, but in more of that kind of like artsy, like okay, like we're weaving in some theme so we can kind of develop that more too outside of just characters explaining it.
It kind of helps to like thematically hold the episodes together because
Mhm.
it's a bunch of not like random subplots because they will interweave some, but it kind of watches like five shows all happening in the same place, and then this guy is giving us the kind of like thematic crux of the thing that connects all those things together, and still kind of loosely, like there are still lots of different thematic ideas happening
Mhm.
within a given episode, it seems like, but that second episode kind of bookends with that idea of like how close um like like sex and murder are as things, and the notion of I like seemingly, I mean, again, the show can get real dark, real cynical, like seemingly uh good, like wonderful benign things being as awful and malicious as terrible things. So like I love the speech about four-letter words, like the ways in which the idea of love can be as awful as some of the four-letter words that he brings up. The like that with the perspective of a prisoner that like you would get into that dark headspace, and like there's a grain of truth to it. I liked that a lot, and I also like how surreal some of the imagery is with that. The business at the
Mhm.
end of that second episode, where like his like throat is being slit while he's talking. I thought
Mhm.
that stuff was great.
Yeah, and they physically mix love and death.
Yes,
No, that was cool. He's basically like a prisoner crypt keeper, so I'm down with that.
sure, yeah, yeah. And he's kind of like that device is kind of like a Greek chorus, and it's
Mhm.
but it's interesting because we're doing that through a character that's actually in the show, and he's kind of doing double duty because it is that character in that he's in his wheelchair and he's in the prison and we're seeing him physically talking, uh, but it kind of doesn't matter that it's that character. Like he feels like when he's doing the narration, he's almost got this like cosmic awareness that's not
Mhm. Yeah,
connected in any way to
exactly.
the actual character. And I don't know, I just thought that as a choice was interesting. And I thought he
Mhm.
was a good pick for it because I've always really liked that guy's voice. Like I think he just delivers exposition really, really well, and
Mhm.
it
Yeah,
has
maybe they'll
a real
expand on that in
presence for
another
him.
episode.
I wonder.
Mhm.
I wonder. One of
They'll get
the sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say he'll get killed, and then he's like, his narration side's like, "Oh no, someone's got to replace me."
I don't think he does. So I got some things spoiled for me reading up on the show, as you might imagine. And there's a I won't give away who in case people don't want to know, but there's a list on Wiki that shows like the biggest, most important characters in the show, and I like it shows a chart of like the 6 seasons, and
Oh, and
everybody
it's just
and
everyone that makes it.
and everybody that's listed on that list of the most important characters are there for the entire show. None of them die.
Mhm. Oh, okay.
I expected at least one of them to be like, he's gone by 4, he's gone by. No, none of the people on that list, like don't actually make it to the end of the show, and he's on that list.
When it's an easy show, like format to like bring in new characters and get rid of old characters.
Oh, of course. One thing I thought was odd is every time we would get a flashback, unless you can think of one that I'm missing, every time we get a flashback and then he comes in and gives us like the name of that character and when they were incarcerated. Every one of them is like a year or two ago. It's like this guy 1995. Like I was waiting for the lifer that had been there like 10 years.
Mhm.
And I realized that like the Ozwing is a new thing, but people would get transferred there. Like it seems like everybody we've gotten a backstory for so far just got there.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, I think you're right about that. That might change as it goes along.
Yeah. Again, I'm not complaining, but I do think it's odd if that continues. If like every character that really matters, all conveniently got thrown in there together at like the same time.
Yeah, that would be strange.
Dan Schneider, $5 super chat. The most controversial thing about the show was the prison rape. It was in the news and stuff. I remember them playing the clips of Beecher and J.K. Simmons. And yeah, like, still obviously shocking. Not as shocking now because we've seen enough shows that deal with that kind of stuff. Apparently, the show was originally pitched to broadcast, which I just can't even imagine.
It would be a completely different show.
Yeah, like it's for the best that didn't happen. Now, I could see a complaint that some of that is like shock for the sake of shock. I think the writing is sophisticated enough and it's thoughtfully exploring ideas enough that it's not watching that way to me.
No, and I mean, like, it's stuff that happens. Like,
Right.
it would be weirder if it wasn't there.
Yeah. It's just, especially sensibilities of the time. The argument for a lot of people would be, well, yeah, but I don't want it in my show, and it's like, well, this isn't, exactly about being like straight up escapist. You know what I mean? Like there's certainly a sort of heightened element to it, I guess. Just in like how much crazy stuff is all happening at the same time. The fact that so far in every, and I'm sure this won't continue, but so far in the 2 episodes that we saw, some major thing has already been banned that's liable to cause a prison riot. Like in the first episode, they lose cigarettes. The second episode, they lose conjugal visits. I'm like, what are they going to take the mattresses away in episode 3?
Yes.
The governor goes on TV and like everybody's applauding him for taking away the mattresses because it'll save the taxpayers another $20,000.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. And now they can give beds to the homeless. 2 problems, 1 bird.
I think they did a great job, regardless of how awful some of these people seem and how difficult it might be to relate to some of them, in making the audience like feel bad for the married guys that can't see their wives anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like I felt that bothered me.
Well, I just really liked all their reactions seeing that on TV, and they're like, ah. Come on.
I think the most unrealistic thing is that there hasn't already been a prison riot. Like the fact that they didn't all rise up then, because
Yeah.
a lot of the crux of the drama so far has been this is a powder keg that's about to explode.
Mhm.
When are the inmates going to take over the asylum?
Well, yeah, and if, people are already mad about specifically the prison rape stuff, like, it's just gonna go up more now.
Oh, I thought you were talking about a different movie, Chewbacca Slover. I only vaguely remember Lord of War. You and I did that on ReQuest. That's the movie he was talking about.
Yeah, with Nicolas Cage.
I th- I don't know why you thought I thought he was talking about something more recent, but
No, because that was one
you
that
gotta
we
understand.
did,
I
and
watch a
then
lot of stuff for this show, man.
because that was one we did, and then like the day we did it, or maybe the day after, out of nowhere they announced that they were talking about making a second one,
Yeah, I know.
and it's like it's such a
I
random
I
movie.
remember that now. Yeah, well, it's our crappy superpower.
Their power, yeah.
It's it's the worst, most useless possible power.
Hopefully, you're not in prison right now, people listening to this, because if our power holds, conjugal visits are getting taken out.
No, that's not how our power works. Tomorrow they will announce the revival series for this show on HBO Max.
Hmm.
That's how our power works. You
Yeah.
just watch; it'll happen. I mean, most of these guys are still alive. They could.
Uh, well, and Zaslav already, like, they're doing a Wizard of Oz remake, a Toto movie. They could just combine them. Like, it could be the Oz shared universe.
The with both Oz's, they'll do a Wizard of Oz and Oz crossover.
Yeah, exactly. Pay
I
no attention to the prisoner rape behind the
No,
curtain.
no, stop it. Yeah, I think that as a metaphor is interesting.
Yeah, and I didn't expect it to go there, like when it did, and I don't know why. I think as it started, I was like, okay, are we gonna do anything with Wizard of Oz? And then I went, probably not. And then we immediately did, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, the whole no place like home thing is a real good kind of thematic through for this show.
Mm. Yeah, exactly.
and
Yeah, and I
and
like
it's
the
it's
whole
just
like
it's real
animal fighting
depressing, like it's home because you're trapped there, but it's not really home. And
thing. Mm. Yeah, exactly. You can't just tap your heels together and then you're back. Well, I think too because you get what Oz actually stands for right before you get any of the Wizard of Oz like parallel stuff. So once we had that, I was like, okay, we're probably not gonna do any Wizard of Oz stuff.
that makes it feel less cutesy. And like
Hmm.
it's a fictional prison, but it totally sounds like a thing that could have existed.
Yeah, absolutely.
I also think it's really interesting that Oz is short for Oswald, and then Penguin does that, which is an HBO prestige show that is in
That you
some ways
don't get without this.
like the show.
When specifically the Sophia episode, right?
Oh yeah, good call. I wasn't even thinking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the darkest episode of this show. That's not actually in the show. I don't know that the show might get darker than that. It seems totally plausible.
If this show kills off Magpie, I'm gonna be pissed. We can't keep doing that. She's an important character.
And I'm gonna assume the Oz thing with Penguin is just a coincidence, but it's a really odd coincidence.
Hmm. Yeah, that is a good call. One that starts with Telltale, doesn't it? Calling him Oz, or does that come up somewhere else?
Oh, maybe so. I thought that was just the Batman thing, but I think you're right now that you say that. It's been a while since I
It
played
is.
those. I think that's true.
It is definitely in Telltale, but I don't know if that comes from something earlier that I'm just not thinking of.
Yeah, but you're right that at least we can't give that to the Batman. We can't blame it or praise it for that. Something else
Mhm.
did it first. Bob the Hunt
Yeah,
$5
that's
super
something we
chat.
like cannot get away from too. But
Mm-hmm.
not that I'm complaining,
Is
but
it
like everything
just
does it now.
yeah? Oswald is just too uh, old-fashioned of a name for
Yeah,
writers.
too preppy, I guess. We like to also do the like Arkham Penguin thing a lot now too, where he's very like Cockney, kind of trashy, like in that way.
Yeah, which I don't care for.
It depends what it is. Like it depends on what the what the version is, but
Bob the Hun, $5 super chat. This show does have a high body count. It kills a lot of people and brings in new characters, even though there are mainstays throughout the show. And that seemed pretty clear from the start. It's got such a gigantic cast, and it's a prison, so you got to bring people in and out
mhm.
naturally.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'd be shocked if this wasn't just like bringing in like constant new people.
Yeah, I couldn't stop thinking about westerns and space station shows. You know,
Mhm.
like an interior uh, community that works like a city, but it's all indoors.
Yeah, and I didn't
I
have the
oddly had
Western, but I was
Babylon
thinking Space
5
Station.
in my head the whole time, and I was thinking about Battlestar Galactica and Deep Space Nine and like space station shows, and then when I think of because of you know all the like political dynamics and stuff in different factions and stuff, when I think about those shows, I think about westerns because that all starts from a western plays.
Hmm. Yeah, and I guess that's just something I've never really thought of, like in terms of that way. But you're right.
Yeah, I've just watched too much science fiction television, especially.
Hmm.
Teddy, $10 super chat. So I wanted to like this show, but I was hugely disappointed when I found out Dorothy the Cowardly Lion, Scarecrow, Tin Man, Toto, Wicked Witch of the West wasn't in it, which is an amusing joke. But Austin didn't even know it had anything to do with Wizard of Oz, like in
At
any
least
way.
Glinda's still there, though.
Oh, is she the lady in the command center that makes it dark and then doesn't care what the inmates are doing to each other back there?
No, you don't remember when they're all fighting in like the area, and then a big bubble woman flies down, and then she's like, "LOL, you guys are stuck here," and then she
I
leaves.
must have been getting snacks.
Yeah,
I
it must
missed
have
that
happened.
part.
Hmm.
Dan
Glinda's just not a good
Schneider
person.
says the creator put out a revival test pilot on YouTube. How long
Oh,
ago?
weird.
So our powers didn't work this time,
Today.
Austin. This is. uh,
Yeah, it's bizarre.
I'm just trying to see when the short film was made. I'm a little surprised that he had to do that by himself and that HBO wouldn't just greenlight such a thing.
Hmm. Yeah. Dan Schneider says 6 months ago, around
It
there.
just happened, yeah. Well, that
Yeah,
might be part of
weird.
why it was on his mind when he requested
Hmm.
this.
When I
Although we're so behind on these, he could have requested it before that even happened.
maybe our powers do work.
Maybe they do.
Uh, well, especially I feel like HBO is kind of in a weird spot where they're looking for their next big show. Not that like they don't have anything of quality, but I do feel like they are kind of in that moment where they're trying to find their next Game of Thrones.
Yeah, like do you think they have they don't really have a policy against revivals, do they? I don't know their catalog well enough, so I'm struggling to think of like how often they've done it, where
Well,
like they
and they
bring back old
have,
stuff.
unless they went to a different network, maybe it just went to Max. I don't know, but there's the like Sex and the City got a revival.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, but Max is
so I don't.
HBO.
Yeah, but like there is still that like difference between HBO proper and Max, but you could also say why can this go to Max if that's what you're saying.
Yeah,
So
like
yeah.
that's what I mean. Why couldn't like even if you don't want to broadcast it, like Penguin was a Max show. I think, but didn't they also put that on HBO?
That was on HBO proper too. Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah, and I
saying
think
they're
Lanterns is
not
going to be on
very
HBO
different.
proper too.
Like
Yeah.
you can still have like all of the unrated like swearing, sex, and violence you want on a Max show that you can on HBO. Like it's essentially the same thing. So even if you didn't want to broadcast it, you could put it on Max. And they've now put HBO back in the title of Max.
Yeah, I feel like the only difference is they're a little bit more careful about what actually goes to HBO, while Max will take more of anything. But absolutely, it could have been on one or the other.
So yeah, apparently that short film isn't even sanctioned, and even though he made it, and Bob the Hun says it's careful not to name the characters that are clearly the characters they played in Oz. Apparently, it only has like a couple characters from the show, and it's called Zoe. So he made it backwards, and so Bob the Hun says it's legally distinct. But like it's so blatantly obviously that show. I don't think it's legally distinct enough necessarily. Like that's interesting.
You should have called it Narnia. Come on, Zoe.
Zoe. The Wizard of Zoe. Thanks for the super chats tonight, guys. Austin, what else? We're at an hour. What else do you want to talk about with this? We've been pretty broad with it, admittedly.
No, I feel embarrassed that it took till today to find out that this was like a prestige show.
You didn't even realize how important the show is.
No. Not at all. You don't get SpongeBob referencing dropping the soap without the show. There's like a whole pop culture bubble that has burst for me.
That's hilarious. And I said there are things that are kind of dated about it, but it's also very ahead of its time. Certainly.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, like I said, it's like right on that precipice, right? Like, there's certain things you have to give it because it's part of breaking down that wall, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you're only a few years into very much television even being allowed to be the serialized. Like, I don't want to take that for granted. We're only in 97.
Yeah, well, there's still
it's only started to become popular to do it on broadcast. Now, easier to do it with cable, of course, because, like, nobody's syndicating your stuff, and I mean, it's not on demand, but they're not as worried about, oh no, somebody might tune in episode 4 that hasn't seen the other episodes. Like you always got with TNG and stuff, which is why DS9 was such a struggle. But you're only 3 years after, or 5 years after that show starts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like there's still going to be a couple of years where there will be shows that struggle for being more serialized, or you have like Fox where they air them out of order.
Yeah. And years after this, they're doing that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you still have several years after this of that. Like, we're right at that level where it's starting.
Yeah, so real ahead of its time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. No, I definitely feel like I found a missing link.
So you said you liked it. Do you think you'll watch any more of it? Or are you in that place of like you'd like to, but it's TV and you have a hard time committing to TV?
I do definitely have that. Like, I don't know if I'll be able to get back to it, but I wouldn't be opposed to it. Like, I would definitely try. The Alien TV show just started a couple days ago, and I haven't even gotten around to that, and that's like one of my favorite things.
I want to see that too. And I haven't
I've
even
heard
seen
it's great so far.
I have too, and I haven't even seen that Predator movie that dropped on streaming that you said was really good.
Yeah, and I guess we're not far away from the second Predator film of the year coming out either.
Isn't that crazy? We've got to review that. That looks so cool.
Oh, I'm so excited! Absolutely,
I'm very stoked for that. Make sure give me all kinds of crap until we talk about it. I would really like to review that, but I might forget about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that animated one's already been like special edition. It was really weird.
Wait,
Just like
what?
out of nowhere they were like, "Oh, by the way, we're adding on to the ending tonight.
Of
Tune
what?
in."
Of what now?
That that animated Predator movie that came out like a few months ago.
Oh, is it? Oh, I didn't even know it was animated. I just knew there was a Predator movie. Is it animated?
Yeah, it's an animated anthology.
Oh, cool. See, I didn't make that assumption because Prey was direct to streaming and was not animated, and I just never even
Mhm.
saw a trailer or anything. So
Yeah.
I just took that for granted. I was like, oh, I guess they made a cheap one and then a more expensive one. That's what I figured happened.
Yeah, no, that one's animated.
I still say Prey could have just gone to the big screen as it was.
Well, I think it was made for theaters. Like that's part
Was
of why
it?
it looks so good.
It looks like it to me. I kind of hated that I didn't get to see it in the movie theater.
From my understanding, too, I think that's like one of the last Fox green lights before the buyout, where it's
Oh.
like a Fox executive was like, "Oh yeah, that's great, make it," and then the buyout goes through.
Well, then
So
we're
it's just getting
lucky
pulled over.
that it wasn't like a Zaslav situation, but at least he's
Yeah,
not the person that bought it. Thank goodness.
no, it's like Fox did like one last solid. It's great.
Well, anyway, thanks a lot for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the show tonight, and I'm glad we watched these. I don't know
Hmm.
if I'll watch any more of this. Like, like it's quite good. I'm glad I sampled it. It's just the kind of thing that's like so oppressive.
When I still got to get back to Sopranos, I've been holding on onto my mom's DVDs for like 3 years,
I watched the
and she
pilot a few
brings it
years
up every
ago,
time I see
and I
her.
still haven't watched any more of that. I got to do that too. You know, I I might come back to this at some point, but I would really have to stagger it. This is the kind of show that I don't think I could binge. I think I would need to like take my time with it.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. That's fair. Tomorrow they'll announce the Arkham show is finally coming out, and it will be made by this guy.
I hope
They'll
that's
just
how
bring him on.
our powers work. I would love this guy to get a DC project under gun.
Mhm. But would it be DCU or the Batman?
Well, you know, there's every possibility those are the same thing now.
Yeah, who knows?
We don't know, but it could be. It's entirely possible. Entirely possible. Dan Schneider, you need to watch more. There are some things that will really connect with you. I can't say why without spoilers. That is a very compelling endorsement.
Hmm.
He knows me so well and picked this because of actors he knows I'm into. Uh, that makes me want to watch more of it. Also, I meant to mention this earlier. It was wild to me that again I never remember his name. Harold. Uh, Perinow. I playing the narrator and the guy in the wheelchair. So like I said, he's Michael in Lost, and he has like an antagonistic relationship with John Locke, who spoilers for that show we find out in the second episode is paraplegic and was in a wheelchair, but got his legs back miraculously by landing on the island. And in this show, in the second episode, you find out that the guy who played Michael is in a wheelchair a decade before, almost a decade before Lost. So freaking weird.
That is strange. What are
I don't
the
know. These kinds of
odds?
connections are just very interesting to me. Yeah,
Hmm.
okay, great. Walt! Anyway.
Clark.
Yeah, Walt is his kid's name in Lost, and just the first season.
Oh, I
It's
assume he was
like,
doing like a Breaking Bad
no,
thing.
the first season he screams it like 900 times.
Oh,
Just
okay. Oh, he's like
Walt! Just
the
constantly.
dad in Heavy Rain.
Dan Schneider, he gets cast in this because the Wachowskis were fans of this show. Maybe same for Lost, but for sure for Matrix. That makes sense. Yeah, I wondered about that. because Reloaded is in what, '02, and that was the first place I saw him. He's really good in that
Oh, so he gets cast in the Matrix sequels because of
because
that.
of this. Yeah,
Okay.
that's what he's talking about.
Okay. So I was confused because he said he gets cast in this because of the Wachowskis because they were fans of this show, and I was like, what?
I was confused about that at first, but that's what he's saying. Anyway, Dan
Okay.
Snyder, thanks. Oh, Reloaded is '03. That's right. Thanks for requesting this. Really appreciate it. We learned a lot. We learned a lot,
Hmm.
Austin.
It's true.
We're getting
Not as much as if it were a documentary thing, but we still learned.
we're filling in uh, shows we didn't even know we needed filled in for the late '90s. Next week we're going back to comics.
Ooh.
And we're gonna be reviewing. Oh, you're gonna have extra homework. You're gonna
Oh,
have
it's
more.
White Knight.
You're gonna have more to do than me. Yeah, because it's Curse of the Night of the White Knight, and you've not read White Knight.
Yeah.
I will reread White Knight though before I read it because it's been too long since I've read that. So
Hmm.
we'll both have the equal amount of work to do. I hope you like White Knight because it would suck if you didn't, and then you had to read a sequel.
Well, yeah,
But
it's funny because
I adored White
I've
Knight
never
when I first read it, but it's been a couple years now.
I've never read that, but the guy who made it, he did a Mark Millar interview, and it's a great interview. And I was like, this guy's so cool. I need to read this book, and I just never got around to it. So, person who requested that, thanks for like kicking my ass out of apathy.
Yeah, thanks, James Egan. No, it's cool because I actually just bought that in singles like a month ago.
Oh, cool.
So I've got most of the White Knight books
Mhm.
in singles now.
Well, awesome. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah. Well, thanks again for watching, everybody. We sure appreciate it. And Austin and I will be back again tomorrow night to review something more obscure than this, but something that a lot of our audience won't have ever seen and know anything about. But it's another interesting history filler like this was. It's the Specials, which is the first superhero movie that James Gunn writes, and I'm telling you, it's a prototype for everything that he does after that. It is fascinating, and I hope if folks show up for that tomorrow because like I said, it's a really good history lesson. I knew nothing
Yeah,
about it. This has been a day of filling in and gaps and learning.
yeah, no kidding. And maybe they'll announce the specials too tomorrow.
And all the like actor and writer connections with that are also super interesting.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. I'm
Well,
excited to see it.
we're gonna get going now, and we'll see
Hmm.
you again soon. I was Captain Logan, and this was Austin. The day goes.
Goodbye, everybody. We're off to see The Wizard.
Bye, folks.
See ya.